Here's to the crazy ones, the misfits, the rebels, the troublemakers, the round pegs in the square holes, the ones who see things differently. They're not fond of rules, and they have no respect for the status quo. You can quote them, disagree with them, glorify or vilify them. About the only thing you can't do is ignore them, because they change things. They push the human race forward. While some may see them as the crazy ones, we see genius. Because the people who are crazy enough to think they can change the world are the ones who do.
How many of you are moved and inspired by what you just saw here? Right, me too. This means that you too are the chosen one. Because if you weren't, you would not feel that sense of inspiration. And so in a little bit of time that we're going to spend together, I'm going to give you some of my experience, and we'll share everything I know in that short time that can help you move closer to be in alignment with your purpose. That, for some of you, that means clarifying it. For some of you, that means acquiring more tactic and strategy. And for some of you, that means maybe releasing some of the things that's in the way from playing this big game that you deserve to play, and the world waiting for you. So is that something of value for you? Yes? Thank you. So in this video, there's something that I put down here. How many of you do not like mathematics, like, algebra and stuff like that? So sorry about that, but I'm going to explain and make it so simple you can start loving it, okay? So think different. Say it, please.
Think different.
Thank you. Plus, feel different. Let me hear it.
Feel different.
Thank you. Yes, thank you. All right, let's say it together. Think different, feel different, act different. What makes this happen in most of our life is something that I call a point of inflection. Something that's happening in your life that makes things change for the better. Does anybody had that experience? Did anybody have that experience? By the way, my origin is from France, so I have a little bit of an accent. So if I either speak too fast or sound too weird, and you raise your hand, I will either slow down or repeat myself, okay? So I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself from the point of view of what I'm telling you, and then you'll share with each other what I call a point of inflection, where something is happening in your life. It's not always a good experience, but it turns out for the better. And I'm just going to share two of these experiences because they're really in alignment with the theme today. And the first one happened at 21 years old, and the second happened at 33. And to share the first one with you, I'd like to go back in time, which is when I was 8 years old, and it had been about 2 years of deep experience of what we call Samadhi. Anybody understand the word Samadhi? Okay, if you don't, it's an experience where you actually feel that you have no personal identity. You're actually merging with the thing that people call universal consciousness. And so I had that experience between about 6 years old and 8, and it was a little scary. And then I started hearing things people could not hear or feel or think. That was a little weird too. And then I started to think about death, and that was very weird at 7 and 8 years old. So I told my parents, they took me to the doctor. They say, okay, we'll put her on Valium. And forget about my talking to God every single day. It went away like death overnight with the medication. Fast forward 21 years old, after a teenager and a youth of alcohol and drugs, you can always imagine the continuation of that addictive pattern. I was about to kill myself in my room after a birthday in Paris, surrounded with rich actors and actresses, as this was my career at the time, and realizing the ephemeral and the superficiality of why people were around me at that time, which was three things: money, drug, or sex. And I just couldn't take it anymore. And in that moment of saying, this is it, And my dad, by the way, forced me to believe, not forced me, but you know how people give some information to you and you're very vulnerable and you start to really believe it? Starting to make me believe I didn't believe in God. And I really thought I didn't believe in God. So I had nothing to turn to because there was no longer this deep relationship with God. So as I was about to make an end to this superficial life, something deep in me did propel me to ask, is there somebody out there, please? If there is something, show me the way. And Samadhi came back, that experience of oneness with everything. And with it came back happiness, complete transformation. And that was my first, what is this, please? Point of inflection, where I started to stop alcohol, drug. I became a vegetarian. I didn't even try. It just happened to me. I started to feel totally positive about everything. Before that, I was so in the dark, so negative. And I started to live in many ashrams around the world, 2 years in India, everywhere. And then I moved in an ashram close to my guru in New York City in '96. And life was perfect. I was teaching yoga. I was going to my guru. As long as I could get by in the world, so I could shine in the spiritual world. And yeah, I see somebody going, I know what you're talking about. And you know what? It could have been like that for the rest of my life. Some people are. But I think I had been chosen for something bigger. And I was not in alignment. I started to have dreams about me being some sort of warrior, like just saving the world. I'm like, what is that? Let me go meditate in the ashram. I don't need to save the world. I'm okay. You know, there's enough people, a warrior out there, and maybe a yogi. And I pushed it and I pushed it and I started to feel awkward. There was a disconnect. And it's important to see that before this, there are signals. There's signals that we don't pay attention, we suppress them. And I suppressed them until 2003. I had a head-on collision car accident. And in that near-death experience, God is saying, your value is freedom. How many people's value is freedom, by the way? Most of you, of course. You wouldn't be here. So, the Evo room, come on. So, in that moment, I knew that I had to match this value of freedom in the physical world as well, so that I can shine not only vertically, but laterally, you know, like that. Do you understand what I'm talking about? Yes? And so, that was the beginning of my entrepreneurial path. And so I've learned so much that for me to be an entrepreneur is to do what we call sadhana, the spiritual work. It's just, anything harder than that would be probably having children, right? Corinne, you would say. And she's both. She's got a child and an entrepreneur. So it's like hard sadhana, hard spiritual work. But so I started to learn, and I had a lot of those after that. But this is the main turning point, and I had a lot of success. Then it fell again, and it came back. And all that is not really about the destination. It's about the process. So I'd like to, in a moment, that you guys stand up, find a partner, and then but in a moment, so don't do it right away, and just share a point of inflection with each other. One of your, most powerful one, okay? So for now, to find which one it is, I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, to tap into the present moment, the only moment that brings you back to the highest potential, the one inside that already knows everything that needs to be known. And you take belly breath, you know, when you inhale, you expand the bottom first all the way up to the top. Make sure that the shoulders are relaxed. And you just take a couple of really deep breaths. You've been breathing all day, so you know how to breathe now. Breathe into the back body too. The back represents the universal consciousness, the front in the individual, where we have all our senses constantly keeping us from turning back inside. So just feel. And then think of that moment in your life, that special time. May have been challenging, but you never were the same after that. I'll just give you a few seconds. I'm sure it seems like you all have it. And then when you have it, you can open your eyes and find somebody, and you're going to share it too. I'll give you about a minute each to share. Go ahead and find someone. So how many can relate that you came to a point there was something more to life? Yes? Awesome. And so when we look at thinking differently, feeling differently, to act differently, there is a concept of timing here. is that true that you thinking is something that can only happen in the present moment, right? And feeling is in the present moment, yes? However, acting can be in the past and in the present and the future. And so it's very important to understand the power of time, and we're going to go over that a little bit later as we're going through this understanding of, like there is something more to life, and I'm definitely ready to change, to be in alignment with what is it I was supposed to be doing that's going to be a lot bigger. And so the next thing we're going to look at is the concept of success, because everybody has their own concept. Anybody wants to share what's their concept of success? Anybody? What is success to you? Just throw some words.
3 meals a day.
Happiness, 3 meals a day. What else? Financial security, freedom. Okay.
Ability to influence.
Yes, ability to influence. Anything else?
Achieving our potential.
Achieving your potential. Yes.
Legacy.
Legacy. I heard alignment. 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 Okay.
Balance doing what you love and giving back.
Balance doing what you love and giving back. Anything else?
Having fun.
Hey, that's success. Having fun. Anything else?
Time freedom.
Time and freedom. Good. So there's a lot of definition to success. I think everybody had their own word, and I'd like to show you a short video. It's about 3 minutes. It's coming from from TED, and it's somebody who actually interviewed a lot of successful people and condensed success into 8 words. Would you like to know which words they are? Okay, let's watch it.
This is really a 2-hour presentation I give to high school students, cut down to 3 minutes. And it all started one day on a plane on my way to TED, 7 years ago. And in the seat next to me was a high school student, a teenager, and she came from a really poor family. And she wanted to make something of her life. And she asked me a simple little question. She said, "What leads to success?" And I felt really badly because I couldn't give her a good answer. So I get off the plane and I come to TED. And I think, geez, I'm in the middle of a room of successful people. So why don't I ask them what helped them succeed and pass it on to kids? So here we are, 7 years, 500 interviews later, and I'm going to tell you what really leads to success and makes TEDsters tick. And the first thing is passion. Freeman Thomas says, "I'm driven by my passion." TEDsters do it for love, they don't do it for money. Carol Coletta says, "I would pay someone to do what I do." And the interesting thing is, if you do it for love, the money comes anyway. Work. Rupert Murdoch said to me, "It's all hard work. Nothing comes easily, but I have a lot of fun." Did he say fun, Rupert? Yes. TEDsters do have fun working, and they work hard. I figured they're not workaholics, they're workaholics. Good. Alex Garden says, "To be successful, put your nose down in something and get damn good at it." There's no magic, it's practice, practice, practice. And it's focus. Norman Jewison said to me, "I think it all has to do with focusing yourself on one thing." And push. David Gallo says, "Push yourself. Physically, mentally, you've got to push, push, push. You got to push through shyness and self-doubt." Goldie Hawn says, "I always had self-doubts. I wasn't good enough, I wasn't smart enough, I didn't think I'd make it." Now, it's not always easy to push yourself, and that's why they invented mothers. Frank Gehry said to me, "My mother pushed me." Serve. Sherwin Newland says, "It was a privilege to serve as a doctor." Now, a lot of kids tell me they want to be millionaires, and the first thing I say to them is, okay, well, you can't serve yourself. You got to serve others something of value, because that's the way people really get rich. Ideas. TEDster Bill Gates says, "I had an idea. Founding the first microcomputer software company. I'd say it was a pretty good idea." And there's no magic to creativity and coming up with ideas. It's just doing some very simple things. And I give lots of evidence. Persist. Joe Kraus says persistence is the #1 reason for our success. You got to persist through failure. You got to persist through crap, which of course means criticism, rejection, assholes, and pressure. So the answer to this question is simple. Pay $4,000 and come to TED. Or failing that, do the 8 things, and trust me, these are the big 8 things that lead to success. Thank you, TEDsters, for all your interviews.
Give me a hand. Isn't that awesome? Now, something he's talking about that's extremely, I do a lot of coaching and mentoring with a lot of entrepreneurs, and I have a great business partner and mentor who teaches a thing called evidence procedure. What is it, please?
Evidence procedure.
Twice louder. Thank you. So many times I see people getting into a great idea. How many people here are creative in this room here? Like they have great ideas, and sometimes one every day. And they're just starting. They're still good to bring teams. They're like gonna enroll everybody in the team, but they didn't do the evidence procedure in terms of how you're going to distribute or brand it, and so they spend a lot of time, bring a lot of people in their team, but then it's just not landing there because they didn't do their research, their evidence procedure. So that's really important. And then one thing that really I see over and over is the lack of focus. The lack of what? Focus. Louder. Okay. Thank you. And so we're going to look at some mistake of what keeps people from succeeding. Is that something you would like to do? Yes? Okay. Let me hear you. Yes? Okay. What do you think could be the number one mistake? Any idea? You want to throw something here?
Inaction.
Yes. Inaction was really good. You said, wow, good. It's actually fail to get started. Fail to get started. Should I write it down? Do you want to write it down for me? Okay. We've got a scribe. Scribe. Am I saying it right? A scribe, yeah. So just, it's going to be 8, so you're just going to have a... So fail to get started. I was writing this down. One of my mentors said to me not so long ago, sloppy success is better than
Mediocrity.
perfect mediocrity. Thank you. And so this failure to get starting has usually is root in this some sort of sabotaging mechanism. Yes. So a little bit later, we're going to do some exercises to take away a little bit of the things that's in the way. Those little voices that keep us from really shining our light. The second one is the lack of fire. Lack of what? Fire. Fire. Say it louder. Fire. Fire. One more time. Lack of fire. I want to see the fist up like fire. You know, you're doing your whatever. And by the way, how many of you are not in business for yourself? Just so I know. Okay, a little bit. Okay, and everybody in this room is an entrepreneur. And especially in this economy, if you have a dead job and you're going to a company, the person you work to, you are your own entrepreneur. What's your name?
Becca.
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 Becca, and who do you work for?
The San Diego Association of Realtors.
So the San Diego Association of Realtors, and you are an entrepreneur, and it's the Becca Inc., and you're showing your product, and it's Becca. This is you, you're the product, and you better show a good product because there's a lot of people out there who want to work with this company, right? Yes. So do you know how, so the mentality of entrepreneurship exists within every function, including the operator of a company. And so it's valuable for every one of you. And one thing is important. Sometimes we're looking for the how. The what, please?
How?
The how, yes. And so the fire is the why. The what, please?
Why?
Yeah, so I have an equation here again. You want to know?
Yes.
Let me hear it. You want to know?
We want to know.
Yes. The bigger the why, the easier the how. The bigger the why, the easier the how. So whatever it takes, find out deep inside what's really propelling you, to do what you want to do. The third one is fail to keep going or lack of persistence. And I'm going to show you a video.
People say you have to have a lot of passion for what you're doing. And it's totally true. And the reason is because it's so hard that if you don't, any rational person would give up. It's really hard. And you have to do it over a sustained period of time. So if you don't love it, if you're not having fun doing it and you don't really love it, you're going to give up. And that's what happens to most people, actually. If you really look at the ones that ended up being successful, unquote, in the eyes of society and the ones that didn't. Oftentimes, it's the ones that are successful loved what they did so they could persevere when it got really tough. And the ones that didn't love it quit because they're sane, right? Who would want to put up with this stuff if you don't love it? So it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of worrying constantly. And if you don't love it, you're going to fail. So you got to love it. You got to have passion. And I think that's the high order bit. The second thing is you've got to be a really good talent scout, because no matter how smart you are, you need a team of great people, and you've got to figure out how to size people up fairly quickly, make decisions without knowing people too well, and hire them, and see how you do, and refine your intuition, and be able to help build an organization that can eventually just build itself, because you need great people around you.
The antidote of persistence, according to, what's the name of this guy, by the way? Steve Jobs, thank you. To do something that's passionate. You know what? I wish I would have seen this 10 years ago when I had a mentor. But it was one of my online marketing mentors, and he was telling me, Ishwari, make money online, then use this money to live your passion. And I got so confused and so brainwashed that made me lose a lot of time. Other people would teach me, another mentor would say, find your passion and money will come. And I did that too, and that's how I got bankrupt in 2009. So that didn't work, because you need skills, you need team. You did that too? How many did that? It's great. You have to have passion, but you have to have a little bit more than just passion. And so you have to have a little bit more. And we're going to go over a lot of that. But so the next thing here is they don't follow direction. They don't follow direction. I would say follow direction of mentor who previously paved the road. Not anybody would say, I was coming here this morning at 8 a.m. and it's like, Abbey Street, and there was Abbey Way on the other right. And there's a guy in the street, he goes, I really wanted to get here on time, so I was getting a little tense. I was not in the moment. I was in the future, like I want to be there already. And he was in the street, and I say, where is Abbey Street? I'm Abbey Way. And he goes, I don't know, but I think you gotta go up here. And it's got, but I don't know, but you gotta go up here. Thank God I was intuitively feeling that he was taking me the exact opposite from the direction. Oh gosh, and how many times people are like, they actually even want your money, I'm gonna coach you into success, and never achieved it themselves. And it's just like, it's just so this point, you got to make sure when you follow direction, when you really want to follow direction, is the direction of the one who already paved the road that you are looking to follow, okay? And then the next one is they don't have any productivity skills. Productivity skill. Any what, please? Productivity. Thank you. And so in a moment, we're going to do a little exercise. So I'd like to know if you have a piece and paper and a pen, if you need one. I know there's a lot of pen over there. Jay and April, if you can help with that. Anybody needs some paper? Piece of paper. If you keep your hand up, we're going to figure out a way to give you some paper.
Product creation or like effectiveness?
Effectiveness. Yeah, thank you for that. Productivity, effectiveness. How many in this room consider themselves master of multitasking? Okay, not? Okay, wow. You know what? Good. I'm proud of you. So we're going to talk about this myth. And the myth here is multitasking gets a lot more done. No. Everybody has a piece of paper and pen? So just write the myth and write multitasking get more done. Just these words. It's 26 letters. Just write it down, okay? Okay. So that's on the top. It's just on the top. Then what you're going to do is you're going to have, let me just do it here. You have your phrase here, and then you have two lines like that. and you have your letter, multitasking. And then the first time we're going to do the multitasking fashion, where you're going to do the first line and the second line together. M1, dun, dun. You know, like every time there's a letter here, there's a number here. And you're going to do both together. Okay? Any question on how you're going to do this?
What are we writing?
So in these two lines, you're going to write multitasking, get more done, but instead of doing this first and the numbering, you're going to multitask. You're going to do first line M under 1, U2, L3. Like you're going to multitask, filling up both lines in the same time. Anybody does not understand?
Do we need all 4 words on one line?
The whole sentence is on one line. So it'll look like this, like multi for I5. Do you understand? Yeah. Don't do it right away because we are being timed. So are you ready? Everybody ready? Yep. So we got to do this, of course, as fast as possible. The moment you're done, stand up. So we know we're done, okay? And begin. I hear frustration. So as soon as you're done, you can just stand up. All right, we have about everybody. So congratulations. It was about 1.5 minutes, okay? So actually, I'm not going to congratulate you because that's a long time. So go back to your seat. All right, we're going to do it differently. You're going to put 2 lines the same way. But you're going to do the first row first. And then you're going to do second, okay? No multitasking, one thing at a time. The whole multitasking, get more done first, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 underneath, and begin. Oh my God. Can we work together? I mean, are you for hire? Give yourself a hand. That's wonderful. That was like less than 40 seconds. Come down. Sit down. You can have a seat now. That's awesome. That was so 3 times longer the multitasking way than the non-multitasking. So do you have more confidence now that if you focus and you're laser focused to one thing, you can actually get more done? Yes? Awesome.